This is our second video in our luxury mindset and high value lifestyle series, and today's video is about stepping into a high value life through faith, self-care, and discipline. I have been that person who wanted more but would be okay settling for average, and even in some cases just taking good enough. But as I've grown and we have been able to hear so many testimonies and see how good God is and how he works, and when I started reading my Bible, I really was able to see that no, there is so much more that we can have in life, that we can do in life. Someone made a comment under one of my videos recently saying that luxury is beyond the material things and it doesn't look a certain way, that God gives all of us our own luxury experience in our own way. And I absolutely love that. The way society has presented luxury to us looks mostly like material things, and as I've been on this journey, I have realized that it's so much more than that. Luxury is how you feel about life, how you feel about yourself, the connection that you have to life and to God, and the material of luxury is sprinkled on top of that. If you want some of that, I ain't even mad at you. I feel you, okay? I want a little bit of that too. And it's time for us to open up our minds, open up our hearts to a high value life, to a luxury lifestyle, whatever that is for you. And on this journey, what I am doing and plan to continue to do is get in alignment with the Lord and stay rooted in him. One thing I noticed personally about myself is that regardless of where I am in life, the closer I am to God, the more peaceful and happy I am. When you are trying to get somewhere in life, it's so difficult sometimes not to get wrapped up in the vision of what you see for yourself or what God has placed in your heart, or something that you might just desire. You know, especially when you're that type of person who is diligent and is constantly working towards something. You know that what you're doing is not for nothing. And many times things don't move the way we want them to move. There's so many moving parts in our journeys, in our lives, but I find that when you stay connected and rooted to God, you can really stay in a peaceful state of mind. You're not so pressed about what's going on around you, because when your focus is truly on God and it's on the Lord first, you already know everything is going to be okay. It's so easy to get nervous, it's so easy to get scared. And if you are like me and you've dealt with overthinking, or maybe you still do right now, it really doesn't take much to make your mind spiral. And I've noticed in so many interviews I've seen with people who are well off in life and living that life that so many of us dream of, they have a position with the Lord. When you really think about the lifestyle that you want to live, or that you may see somebody else living, really think about how much comes with that, how much discipline, how much work, how much organization, how much consistency. We're just one person, one body. We can only handle so much. That strength is coming from somewhere. And then when you're on your journey, regardless of where you're going, you really do have that consistent guidance from the Lord. You hear him most, and you are most sure of what he does and doesn't want you to do when you are reading your Bible and when you are praying. It's something that sounds so cliche, but when you start doing it, you will see how real it is. People say certain things in faith all the time, and once you experience it, you start to realize,
dang, people are not just saying the same thing over and over.
People are saying this because it's real. On this journey of elevating our lives, we're also going to continue to take care of ourselves. It took me so long to recognize this pattern, but I would get into spaces in my life where I just felt so bogged down and I was like in a rut, and it just seemed like it kept happening every few months. Like I'd feel like I got ahead, or I was good and steady and things was going well, and then I would just plummet, and then it would just make me upset, because I'm just like, Gabby, how are you ever going to get anywhere if you just if this keeps happening? If this keeps happening with what you have right now, how do you not expect to collapse when God gives you more? And I'm so happy that the Lord revealed to me this was connected to my self-care. Like when I miss too many days in a row of doing my skincare routine, whether that's my body or my face, missing my walks, taking too long to wash my hair, and I'm really not giving myself time to just sit in a quiet place by myself to just exist or spend time with the Lord, you know, do things I like read. I start feeling so low. I just start feeling bad about myself. The thoughts in my head start getting pessimistic, and I just don't feel well. Like, I just don't feel good. I start feeling like life is just dragging on, you know what I'm saying? Like, every day is a chore and everything is a chore. And I'm a wife and a mother, so it's so easy sometimes, and if you know, you know, for you to end up putting yourself last. Not only do you have to take care of others, you want to, and then sometimes it's just ingrained in you. It's just a part of your routine to do everything else for everybody else first. It gets to a point where you got to do stuff for yourself too. Like, your job can't always be because of other people or to serve other people. Sometimes you may have to extend yourself a little further just for yourself. When you put yourself first in certain regards, you feel so much better. Like, when I get up, and I get up before the kids, and I read my Bible, and I do my skincare routine, wash my face and stuff, and I just put on some clothes, just take care of myself for the day before I start taking care of everybody else. I'm telling you, my spirit be so right. My spirit be so soft. I be feeling so good, and I just feel so confident. Like, even if I go about the day and not get everything that I wanted to get done, it still felt so nice to be connected to myself and connected to the Lord that day. When you feel good about yourself in that way, you're constantly compounding your confidence every single day, and eventually, like, when you get to a point where you're not feeling your best, for one, you can give yourself grace, and two, you're more likely to know how to get out of that rut. With having that luxury mindset and living a high value life, you really do have to take care of yourself. It's only so far that you're going to get if you do not care about yourself on the inside and the outside as well. And to stay in accordance with this is going to be so important for us to create routines. It doesn't have to be anything convoluted, anything complicated, but whatever fits your lifestyle and whatever flows in your day to make sure you get things that you need to get done. It really helps because, you know, life be life, and it does its thing. And when you fall off track, or when you start falling out of alignment with too many things that you know you need to do, you know you always have that routine to go back to. People that live certain lifestyles have certain routines. I mean, honestly, like, you have a routine right now. Even if you don't like where you are right now, you're stagnant, you feel like you could be doing better, or you're not doing anything at all, that's part of your routine. You have to consider what your routine is and how you want to tweak it, because there's always something more or something less that we can do. And when we want to elevate in life, our routines have to be absolutely on point. We're not robots, so we may not hit that routine every single day, but that's not the point. It's about having that structure and something to come to, and something that you just know, you know, especially too if you're a mom. Your children need to be in routine too, because when they're not in routine, it affects your routine, and then it affects your mood, and then it affects your mindset, your thoughts, and then things just start spiraling from there. If it seems like your kids don't like it at first, maybe they don't because they're not used to it, but kids need structure and routine. Kids get a lot of security and comfort from knowing what's going to happen. You don't have to be super strict if that's not you, but having a guideline is really going to help you elevate and get to where God is leading you to go. And in this, y'all know, and elevate in our lives, we're going to continue to shed and to grow inner work, okay? We cannot get to where we want to go if we don't do the inner work. It's crazy because I was just thinking yesterday, you know, a lot of times we hear and we say how people are blocking their blessings, or we don't want to block our blessings. And I was just thinking, like, if you think about your blessing being an actual spirit, you know what I'm saying, you have a spirit of blessings. If you have pent up emotion that is hurtful to you, picture those emotions and those experiences taking up space in your mind and in your body, and not allowing the spirit of the Lord, the spirit of your blessings, to come upon your life. And so many times we actually are blocking things that God wants to allow into our life with our thoughts, with our ways. The moment you clear your mind, the moment you clear your heart and your body of those experiences, he can start pouring the blessings in, because now you actually have space. When you see your body as an entity, your environment as an entity that is being filled up with something, it makes more sense of how we truly can block our blessings. And when you do that inner work and you start getting that junk out, you will feel so different. When I started offloading the secrets that I had been bearing on my life, when I started keeping it hot with myself, oh my gosh, it's like a whole weight just came off of my shoulders. And even though I didn't necessarily see anything change around me instantly, I felt differently on the inside. Life is so much better when you're joyful first, or when you're at peace first. So many times we're waiting for the blessings, we're waiting for the elevation to feel better, and we might feel better for a time, but it's not going to change how we really feel and what we really dealing with inside, and it's going to be short-lived every time. It's just like if you have been driving around in your little bank car and having issues with it, it's breaking down on you and everything, you just like,
Lord, I just need a new car. Like, I need a new car.
and the Lord blesses you with that car. Even though you're going to be on a high, you're going to be so thankful and so blessed with that new car, there's still going to be other things in your life that still get you upset. The things that we want, they will bring happiness, but they don't bring that everlasting continuous joy, and we have to do the inner work. This part really takes work and consistency, but I think so many times it's where the blessings lie. A lot of us are messed up inside and hurt inside. It's pretty normal. Like, most of us have trauma or something that we went through, and that's all right. It's about getting through and getting past it. If you that person like I was, oh my gosh, I would play the same stories in my head about things that happened to me, things that people did to me, over and over and over again. It's like they would replay in my mind every single day. When you do that, you're affirming and reaffirming to yourself that I'm a victim. People never do me right. I'll never be successful. I always get the short end of the stick. I always gotta work hard for nothing. You know what I'm saying? When you play those stories in your head all the time, you're keeping yourself in that space. You really have to let it go. And one thing that really helped me was asking myself, Gabby, if you stop telling yourself these stories, if you stop revisiting the past in this way, what's going to happen? Why are you so afraid to stop? And the answer for me was that I don't want it to feel like what people did was okay. But that wasn't my burden to carry though. If I believed that everything truly happens for a reason, that God got my back and that he's fighting my battles for me in the spiritual realm, I don't need to keep hurting myself over situations where people is probably forgot it happened or is not even thinking about me. I have a big thing about being ignored, being invisible, not being seen, not being heard. So many things that kept me tied to feeling like I had a voice, feeling like I mattered. Things that made me think, how dare you? Like, those things would really stick to me. But all I was doing was keeping myself in that place, because somebody who feels invisible and is constantly thinking on all the times where somebody made them feel less than or invisible is likely going to remain in a space where they feel invisible, because they're going to keep validating that they're invisible. All of this inner work, what it truly comes down to when it comes to this luxury mindset and this high value life, is self-worth. Like, we really have to get to worthy. I think the word deserving is so interesting. We use that word a lot. I use that word a lot when I'm talking on here, and just when I'm thinking about myself, saying like, I deserve this, I deserve that. But when you think about it, we've done so many things too that it's just like, well, I don't deserve that. I don't deserve to be here. Jesus shouldn't have died for me, and that sort of thing. So it can become tricky. Like, yeah, at the bottom of it, we really don't deserve all the goodness that we have. We all have a little bit of wickedness. We all have a story, things that we have overcome, darknesses that we are fighting or have had to fight. But the Lord died so that we could be worthy, so that we could have another chance. Every day that we here, we have an opportunity to live the life that he set aside for us. You are the salt of the earth. You the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. When you start seeing yourself differently, and even more seeing yourself through the eyes of God, you really start realizing how worthy you actually are, how deserving you actually are, despite what may have happened, what you've been through, what you did. And people who live this lifestyle of being elevated truly from the inside out, in the spiritual, in the emotional, in the mental, they know they are worthy. of what is coming to them and what they have already. Working on our self-worth is really what's going to open up those doors. We got to see ourselves differently, talk to ourselves differently, and really believe. And if you don't know, and if you find it hard to believe like I did, Jesus will affirm that for you and what he said about you and what he feels about you. We are going to stay rooted in who we are, because the minute we start diverting our eyes on worldly treasures, that's where we start putting our faith in. That's what we start getting our happiness from. And all of these things are fleeting. You never know what can happen. You ever seen the movie Richie Rich? That guy that worked for the riches was trying to kill them and then steal their money. In the end, he got into the vault and there was no money. And he's like, where the money? And the dad was like, well, we don't value those kind of treasures. The vault was full of memories, pictures, and stuff like that. Like, what they treasured came from the heart. It wasn't the money. And people with no money or little money have a hard time understanding, how do you have all that money and you're still not happy? Because at some point, all of the things that they have, all of the things that they buy, they realize it's still not enough. It would be better for us to learn that lesson before we get the money. But so many times people get everything they wanted and then still realize, oh my gosh, I'm so empty inside. What is going on? And one of the big things we're gonna do in Elevate is learn from other people, okay? We're gonna learn from other people's mistakes, from other people's stories and testimonies, and that's not gonna be us. We're gonna be filled with the fruit of the Spirit. And then once we get to this high value portion, this season of life where we living in our luxury, we living in our high value, okay? We ain't even gotta go through all of that emptiness, because we've been working along the way, and we know what brings us fulfillment. We know where our happiness and joy and satisfaction comes from. Period. When you know who you are, there's not much that can sway you. People lose themselves when they get to certain spaces, when they start succeeding. It wouldn't take much of something that looks good or sounds good to get you to do or say a certain thing or act a certain way. When you know who you are, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know what you're going to put up with, and you know what you're not. You're not going to step outside of your beliefs to appease other people. You're not going to do something you don't really want to do to get something that you would like to have. No thing on this earth is going to make you divert from who you are within. When you know who you are, you don't have to worry. When you know who you are and you're rooted in yourself and you have that confidence in yourself, somebody whispering in your ear is not going to mean a thing. And y'all already know. Y'all already know the importance of fasting. Fasting and prayer. Fasting is an incredible way to be connected to the Lord, to be connected to yourself, and elevate in your life. You gain so much wisdom and knowledge and clarity and positive health benefits to your body. You see the strength in you. Fasting and prayer, especially when you combine them, puts you in this whole elevated state of life. It's so funny because I never saw myself fasting because I just didn't think I could do it, and I didn't even want to try because I didn't want to fail the Lord. It's still challenging at times when you go into it and you're preparing for one, but by the time like you're deep in it and you come out of it, you just so amazed by the strength that the Lord gives you to do such a thing, and you really do elevate. Like, sometimes chains aren't broken off of you or things aren't poured in that you may have wanted during that fast or during that time, but it's really about what the Lord knows you need and the discipline in doing so. Everything we've been talking about takes discipline to do, because so many things of it require you to get your mind back on track. It requires you to stick to something and continuously do it and allow what you're doing, all of the hard work, all the consistency to compound. You need discipline for that, and fasting is the ultimate discipline. There's no leeway. You sticking to what you have to stick to, and that's it. There's no cheating in fasting. Whatever type of fasting that you're doing, it actually breaks down to scientific principles, which I always think is so cool, because all these scientists be out here thinking that they are revealing something unknown. God already created us this way. God created science, okay? So when they figure out these things, to me, it just makes me more excited and more connected to God, because all they're doing is confirming things that have been in the Bible. Your brain is actually changing during fasting, and your body challenging ourselves is going to be major in elevating our lives. Like changing your mind, because you really have to change your mind. There was a point in one of my videos actually where I was saying that I wanted a regular life. I just wanted to be normal. And I have been asking myself for the past couple of weeks, like, Gabby, what is normal? Because if you think about being in upper middle class or high middle class, that's not normal to you right now, but that could be your normal. Like, what's your normal? We get tired in life, and I have gotten so tired in life that I just wanted to sit down and just be like, you know what, God, I can just stay right here. This is okay. If you just set me up, you know, a little nice and comfy, I'll be good here. But no, sometimes we put ourselves in a lower place than God wants us to be, because we do have to be more disciplined. We do have to have more faith. We do have to work harder to live that elevated life. And if you really want that for yourself and God wants that for you, who are you to just be like, no, I'll just sit here and I'll just take this. You have all of that, but I'm tired, God, I'll just take this. No, we got to challenge ourselves to take on the task that God has given us, to be disciplined, to change our minds. Even the smallest things. Like, I'm that person where if I'm at the store and I'm looking at 2 different products and one of them is like 50 cents cheaper, I'm going to get the item that's 50 cents cheaper, okay? And this does come with knowing your situation and being wise, but there are also going to be times where you have to challenge yourself. If you're looking at 2 items, something you might need for yourself or for your children or for your home or for your car, and you're looking at it and one other item is $100 more, if it's truly not there at the time, you still have to speak to yourself differently. You know what? I wouldn't be making a wise financial decision to choose that item right now. I am going to be that person who is able to make that purchase for myself, for my family, for my home, for my car, for someone that I love, but the time is not right now. It's okay, because I'm going to do what I have to do and take care of my business right now, and I know God is going to bring me to that point where I can do things like that. Even if you still can't do the thing, maneuver the thing, or afford the thing, you still have to pour into yourself. Like, rewire your mind to not make you feel like I just can't have that, I just can't afford that, because that's a lot of things we say. Oh, that's expensive, that's too much. We gotta challenge ourselves to remove those words. I try my best not to use the word expensive.
The price is outside of what I can afford right now. They're charging for quality, and I totally understand that. They should charge for the quality that they're serving.
But if you truly are in a space where you have that extra $100 for the product that you know, if you already were where you want to be, like in your head, you need to get it. You need to get it. It might feel uncomfortable, but you can get it. God has already placed on you to be able to be blessed enough to get that. So if God has already put you in a place to get that, but you still tight-fisted, whether that's with your money or with your time or with your energy, if you don't want to expand what you already have right now, it's like, if you really think about it, what makes you think that when you get where you're going to be more giving? I think a lot of us think that when we come into abundance, we're going to be more giving. Like, oh, I'm tight-fisted right now, but when I have more, I'm going to give more. I think that's highly unlikely. It's easy to think that way, but once you come into your abundance, you're going to be so nervous and low-key scared about losing it all that you're still going to be stingy. You're still going to be frugal. So you have to start unworking those habits and those mindsets in you. And in order to do that, you have to challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to make decisions that you normally wouldn't have taken. Challenge yourself to go a little harder, to wake up a little earlier, to spend a little more money, to do something that doesn't feel very comfortable. Make different decisions, because we are where we are today based on every single decision that we made to this point. But any day, at any time, you can make a different decision. You can try a new choice. You have to put yourself in a mind to really understand that we can have this. That trust comes into play with God. That faith comes into play with God, and believing in yourself. If you truly want to elevate in life and have this luxury mindset and this high value lifestyle, it's going to take faith, self-care, discipline, and it may be a little rocky or bumpy sometimes, but that's okay. We're totally rewiring our minds and our brains. But when you have God, He helps you stay on track. When you have your routine, it helps you get back on track. We have to work and continue to work to get this life that God is telling us, that he's telling you is yours. Most of us don't get things just handed to us or given to us on a silver platter like we see other people get or have, or even like we try to do for our own children. But we can have it too. We can get there. There's certain things that I would love to experience, that I would love to have, but I know at the end of the day, even if I never retrieve those things, I'm still happy and I'm still joyful for what the Lord has given me today. That's true luxury. That's a true high value mindset, to find the value in the peace, the joy, the happiness, the fruit and the spirit in your everyday life, regardless of where you are at that time. And life just becomes more beautiful as you see those blessings come into your life. And if we want more, if we want to live more, we got to tell ourselves different. We got to do different. We got to move different. We have to be different. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting more in your life, with wanting higher quality, higher value. If you want a Birkin bag, okay. If you want a Rolls Royce, all right. If you want to fly first class, yes, okay. I used to feel bad when I got something that made me happy. I felt wrong for people seeing me too happy, or for people who didn't have what I had or what I was getting. We can't bear the weight of everybody else and everybody else's emotions. Sometimes we will elevate and leave people behind, but they have the opportunity to elevate too. It may not be the same exact one you have, but we all have the opportunity to make a little change here and there, to turn things around. We will not be feeling bad for our blessings, for our successes, for our changes, because baby, we put in that work every day. We put in that work every day. So we will not feel ashamed for the work that we put in, for what we went through, for our story, because we had the courage to believe in ourselves. We had the faith to believe in the Lord. We had the discipline and the diligence to do what we do. I hope y'all been enjoying the series. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. That's it for now, y'all. I love y'all so much, and in peace and love, I'm out.